Good morning, students. ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಸೂರಜ್ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್
Yes, ma'am. Kanistada.
Yes. Okay. So in the previous class, I completed the first module syllabus, and today I'm going to start the second module. In the second module, you will have the problem statements, functional testing. Then you have the other types of testing uh, that we'll discuss later. Okay, so first I'll start with the problem statements. Okay, in the problem statement chapter, we are going to study about generalized pseudocode and the examples for three problems. One is the triangle problem, second one is the next date function problem, and the last one is the commission problem. So these problems you are going to study in the problem statements, and also you're going to study the solution in terms of the pseudocode and the flowchart. Okay, so first we'll start with that. So once again, these topics are covered from the textbook 1, chapter 2 for the problem statement, and for the remaining functional testing you have to study the chapters 5, 6 and 7, and also the some of the topics are covered from chapter 3 of the textbook 2. So first I'll start with the chapter 2, that is the problem statement. As you already know, which is the textbook 1 and textbook 2. So textbook 1 is software testing, a craftsman approach by Paul Jorgensen. This is the textbook 1. Okay, software testing, a craftsman approach by Paul C. Jorgensen, and the second one is Morofizzi, Michael Young, software testing and analysis. So the second module topics are covered from these two textbooks. So major topics are covered from the textbook 1, and only one chapter is covered from the textbook 2. Okay, so first I'll start with the see in the problem statements. Okay, so here, as I said, we are going to study about three examples that I said before that you are going to study in this chapter. And these three examples are for the unit testing method. So whenever we are studying the unit testing methods, we are considering these three examples. Okay, so as I said, first example is the a triangle problem, and the second one is the next date problem, and third one is the commission problem. Okay, so these examples raise most of the issues that testing craftsmen will encounter at the unit level. Means whenever the testing team is performing the testing at the unit level, then if we use these methods, then most of the issues will be covered here. ಮೇಡಮ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತೀನಿ. ಮೇಡಮ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಓಕೆ, okay. So here we are considering the structural testing and the traditional method, and in the structural testing we are considering the pseudocode implementation. So first you are going to study what is a pseudocode, then we are considering the pseudocode implementation for the triangle problem, next state function problem, and the commission problem at the unit level. So first we'll see what is a pseudocode. Hello, Suraj, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ?
ಹಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆ.
ಹಲೋ,
ಹಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆ.
ಸಚಿನ್, ಶರಣ್ಯ,
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆ.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ,
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಂಗೆ ಡೌಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಓಕೆ okay okay okay, I'll continue. Okay, so first you're going to study what is a pseudocode. So these things, pseudocode and all, you already studied in the first semester as well as from the third semester, right? Pseudocode provides the language neutral way to express a program source code. Suppose if I ask you people to write the program for a square root of a given number, okay, consider the example that you have to find the square root of a given number. So before writing the source code or before writing the program, so first you are going to write the pseudocode. Okay, so pseudocode is a language neutral, means it is not the language dependent, it is a language independent code. And once you write the pseudocode, you can implement it in any language, right? Hence, it is called as the language neutral code. Language neutral code means it is language independent code, and once you write the pseudocode, you can implement or you can write the program by using any programming language. So, but here in our example, we are considering the pseudocode on Visual Basic. So here we are considering the when we are using the Visual Basic, and it is having the constructs at the two levels. One is at the unit level and the other one is the program components. And here we are representing the units either in the form of a traditional components or as the object oriented components. Okay, so here we are considering the Visual Basics, which is having two constructs. One is at the unit level and the other one is program components, or one is the unit and the other one is the program components. And here we are representing the units either in the form of a traditional component, so that is by using procedures and functions, or by using the object oriented components. So when we say object oriented components, there we are mainly concentrating on representation by using either the objects or by classes. So in the traditional method we are using the procedures and functions, whereas in the object oriented method we are representing them by using objects and classes. So we'll see some of the pseudocode examples. Generalized pseudocode examples. So first one is the comment. So we are representing by using the text, right? And next we have the declaration. How we are representing the declaration? Type with the type name, then the list of field descriptors, or the list of field descriptions, and the end of that type. Similarly, data declarations. So data declarations, we are representing either the form of integer or the floating point character, etc. So that, but it is general dimension variable as type. Type may be the, as I said, it may be integer or the character or the floating point. Okay. Next one is the assignment statement. Assignment statement, suppose if I am assigning the value to some variable. So here variable is equal to expression. If I writing this as a is equal to b plus c. So here a is a variable and b plus c is the expression, right? This is called as the assignment statement. And these are the generalized pseudocodes that you are using when you are writing the pseudocode. And by using these pseudocodes, you can implement the programs by using any programming languages. Okay, next we have the input. Input, you're giving input a comma b comma c like that. Okay, then output, depending on the output variables you're using, that you're representing here. Next, the conditions. Simple condition, expression, relational operations, operator, and the expressions. Next we are using the compound conditions. So there you are using the logical connectives. Next, for the sequence statements in the sequential orders. Next comes the simple selection. There it's an example for the if else if statement. If condition, then this satisfies, otherwise will end if. Right, so many times you're using the if else conditions, right? So here only we're using if a is less than b, then we say that A is equal to minimum or B is equal to maximum. Then we are ending that statement. Similarly, next one is the selection. So here we are using simple selection. In the simple selection, we have only if and end of the if statement. Only one statement exists. But in the selection, here we are using the compound statement. Means if condition, then clauses else. If else condition here. If else and end if. Similarly, if we have the multiple selections like case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4, etc. So if I ask you to write the program for performing the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, then how you are doing that? You are representing them with the cases. Case 1 is addition, A plus B. Case 2, subtraction, A minus B. Case 3 is multiplication, A into B. And case 4 is the division, that is A divided by B. So like this, here those operations you are representing by using the multiple selections. Next, we'll move on to the right. That is over. Next one is the counter controlled repetitions. Means when you're using the counters. For example, if you're using the counter I is equal to 0, next you're incrementing each time, right? So there we are using the for loop, right? How we are representing the for loop? For I is equal to 0, then what? Yes, how we are representing the for loop? Can anybody tell me? Yes, for I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Like that you are representing the for loop, right? Next one is the pre-test repetition. There we are using the do-while conditions. Next we have the post-test repetitions. So there in the pre-test we are having only do-while at the end of that while condition. But here in the post-test repetition we are using the do loop body that will be there until the condition satisfies and that repeats. Right. Next we have the procedure definitions. We are giving the procedure name and the input variable list as well as the output variable list. Next one is the inter-unit communication. You're calling the procedures or the functions that is represented with call procedure name and the variable list. Next, we have the class or object definition, name and the attribute list, method list will be given. Next, we have the inter-unit communication. There once again one more example, we have message, destination, object name, method name, and the variable list. Like that we have the number of pseudocodes available. So by using that you're writing the pseudocodes, right? Next one is the object creation. Here you're giving the class name and the object name. Next one is object destructions and the program. So in the object destruction, when you're using it to delete the class names or the objects, you're using the object destruction. And next one is that is the last one, program name, and you're giving the unit list. And after that, once the program completes, you are representing it by the end. Okay, so these are the generalized pseudocodes that you are using when you are writing the pseudocode before implementing it by using a programming language. So these are about the pseudocodes. Next, we'll see the problems. So as I said, in this chapter, you're going to study 3 problems. One is the triangle problem, second one is the next date problem, and third one is the communication problem. So first we'll see the triangle problem. So in the triangle problem is represented by the simple version and as well as by the improved version. So first we'll see the simple version of the triangle problem, then we'll move on to the improved version. So what the problem says. So here that in the triangle problem, the triangle accepts the triangle problem accepts 3 integers A, B, and C as the input, and these A, B, C represents the sides of a triangle, and the output is represented as the type of the triangle determined by these 3 sides. So what will be the output of the triangle problem? So it says that what type of the triangle is, whether it is a equilateral triangle or isosceles triangle or a scalene triangle, or it is not at all a triangle. So we are getting the output as either the triangle is equilateral or isosceles, scalene or not a triangle. So this is the problem statement. So what is the problem statement? The triangle program accepts three integers a, b, c as the three sides of a triangle, and based on the type of a side, it the output it is giving as that equilateral triangle, isosceles triangle, or scalene or not a triangle. Uh, so in this is the basic question of the problem. So here it simply accepts the integers ABC, and we are entering the values for the ABC, and no limit is given for the ABC value, right? But here in the improved version, they are specifying the ABC value, and the condition is also given. So here we'll see the first three conditions. A, B, C value must be between 1 and 200. Okay, if the A value is less than 200 and sorry, if the A value is less than 1 and greater than 200, that will not be considered. Similarly, but for B and C variables also. So after entering the ABC values, we are finding the sum of b plus c, a plus c, and a plus b, and we are checking whether a is less than b plus b or not. If similarly b is less than a plus c and c is less than a plus b, so this condition we are verifying. Okay, and so once this condition is given, next the one of the four possible mutually exclusive output is given. Just a minute. ಪ್ರಸಾದ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ, ನಾನು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತೀನಿ, ಅಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಇರ್ಲಿ, ನಾನು ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನನಗೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ. We'll see the mutual exclusive output. If means what are the conditions? So in the previous problem here, we said that the triangle will be a equilateral, isosceles, scalene, or not a triangle. So to represent the triangle as a equilateral triangle, what will be the condition? If all three sides are equal, means if A is equal to B, B is equal to C, then we say that the triangle is a equilateral triangle. Why? Because all three sides are equal, then the triangle is said to be a equilateral. If exactly one pair of sides is equal, then the triangle is said to be isosceles. Means if A is equal to B and C value is not equal to A or B, then we say that the triangle is a isosceles triangle. Means in an isosceles triangle, out of three sides, two sides are equal. Okay, and the next one is scalene. If the triangle is not a equilateral or not a isosceles, then that triangle is said to be a scalene. Scalene triangle means no sides are equal. A is having some different value, B is having some different value, and C is having some different value. Then we say that the triangle is a scalene triangle. If any condition C4, C5 or C6 face, then we say that the triangle, the given one is not a triangle. Okay, understood? So here we are representing it as a equilateral triangle, isosceles triangle, or scalene. If all three not there, then it is a, then the given one is said to be not a triangle. So when it is said to be not a triangle, if one of the conditions of C4, C5 or C6 fails, then it is not a triangle. Means here once we perform the addition of B plus C, then A should be less than B plus C. Okay, suppose if I enter the A value as 500, B and C as 200, 200, then what happens? B plus C becomes 400, but what is the A value? It is 500. Then that condition is not satisfied. Why? Because A value is greater than B plus C. If that condition is not satisfied, then we say that triangle is not the given for the given condition, it is not the triangle, or the output is represented as a not a triangle. Understood? Okay, so for this problem, we have to write the pseudo code, and also we have to write the flow chart. So once we write the flowchart or the pseudocode, then we can easily implement it by using any programming language. So first we'll see the structural implementation of the triangle problem. Okay, so here we'll see the structural implementation of a triangle problem. So it is represented by a data flow diagram. Through the keyboard, what we are going to do, we are entering the values for the three sides of the triangle. Then the triangle program is executed. Then depending on the value of the A, B and C, the output, we are getting the output in the form of equilateral, isosceles, scalene or not a triangle. Screen means, so in the screen, the output is displayed. Through the keyboard, we are entering the inputs to the program, and the program is executed. Once the program is executed, we are entering the inputs for A, B and C. Then depending on the type of ABC value, it displays the output at the screen. Understood? So here, so what is the first step? We have to give the input to the ABC. So first, because A, B, C are the triangle sides. So a triangle sides, for the triangle sides, we have to give the input. Then also here we have the values ABC. Okay, so depending on the value of ABC, it will display it as a isosceles, equilateral or the scalene. Then if what happens is the triangle, if based on the value of ABC, it will display as triangle or not a triangle. Okay. So here we are declaring ABC as the integer value because we have to give the values for that. Then the triangle as boolean. Why? Because that we have to represent as either it is a triangle or not. Okay. If it is a triangle, then we'll check whether it is a equilateral, isosceles or scalene. Okay. So that is a triangle. We are checking the condition whether it is a triangle or not. If it is yes, means if it is a triangle, then we are going to find what type of triangle it is. Okay, if it is false, means it is not a triangle, then it is directly displaying the output as not a triangle. Understood? That for that we are writing the pseudocode. So first we have the data flow diagram, and after that we have the pseudocode. So in the pseudocode, we are entering the ABC, or sorry, declaring ABC as the integer values. Then the other one is triangle as boolean. Means first we are checking the condition whether the for the given values whether it will give the triangle or not. So if it is a triangle, then we are going to find the type of triangle. If not, then we are directly telling that it is not a triangle. Right. So what is the first step? We have to enter the values for ABC. Enter three integers which are the sides of a triangle. So we are inputting the data ABC. So A is for side A, B is for side B and C is for side C. So we are entering the three sides of a triangle ABC values. Next, we are checking the condition whether it is a triangle or not. If in the previous case here we have defined that if any one of these three condition fails, C4, C5, C6, if any of one of these three condition fails, then we say that it is not a triangle. That we are checking. So if A is less than B plus C and B is less than A plus B and C is less than A plus B, if it is true, then is it a triangle? Means if all these condition, if A is less than B plus C and B is less than A plus C and C is less than A plus B, then we say that it is a triangle. Otherwise, it becomes false condition. Means if any one of these three becomes false, then we say that it is not a triangle. Next, so we'll assume that it is a triangle. Then once it is, we assume that it is a triangle. Means if all three conditions satisfies, it is a triangle. So once if it is, we find that it is a triangle, next we have to find the triangle type, whether it is equilateral triangle or the scalene or the isosceles, that we have to find. So what is the condition for the equilateral triangle? If all the sides are equal. So that is, if A is equal to B and B is equal to C, what it indicates? A is equal to B, B is equal to C, then it indicates that all sides are equal, then we say that it is a equilateral triangle. Else, if A is not equal to B and A is not equal to C and B is not equal to C, means uh, if any one of the condition fails, then we say that it is a isosceles. Means if A is not equal to B and if A is equal to C, then it becomes isosceles. Means A and C will be equal to, are equal, and B is not equal, then it indicates it's a isosceles triangle. If all these three conditions satisfy, A is not equal to B. Suppose we declare A is equal to 30, B is equal to 40, and C is equal to 50. Then what it indicates? A is not equal to B, A is not equal to C. Similarly, B is not equal to C. And if that condition satisfies, then we say that the triangle type is a scalene type. Means no sides are equal. So if no sides are equal, then it is said to be a scalene. And if two sides are equal and if one side is not equal, then we say that it is a isosceles triangle. So once this condition is, we are checking by using the if else condition, then we are displaying the type of a triangle: equilateral, scalene, or isosceles. And the last one is not a triangle. Why it is not a triangle? Here we are checking the condition, right? Is else is a triangle false. If this condition false, then it indicates that it is not the triangle that we are representing. So here within step 2 we have step 3, because once we find the output as a triangle, then we are finding the triangle type. So once we display the triangle type, then the program will end. If it is not the triangle, so this condition else is a triangle is equal to false. Why? Because this condition is false, then we say that it is not a triangle. So then the triangle program completes. So this is the structural representation of a basic problem, right? In the basic problem, ABC values are not defined, right? They simply define it as enter the values of A, B, and C. Then depending on, we are checking whether A, B, C are equal or not. Depending on that, we are representing them as a equilateral, isosceles, or the scalene triangle. Understood? So this is the improved version specification. So in the improved version, they have specified the A values, B values, and C values within the range 1 to 200. So that we have to check. Right. So here this is same. We are declaring ABC as the integer values. Along with that, we are checking the condition C1, C2, C3. Here we are specifying the condition C1, C2, C3 as the statements. Why? Because we have to check here. We have to check whether the A value is between 1 and 200. Similarly, B is between 1 and 200, and C is between 1 and 200. So if not, if one of the value is more than 200, suppose for A, if I enter it as 201, what it indicates, it is giving the output as value of A is not in the range of permitted values. Why? For A, B, C, we have to give the values within 200, that is from 1 to 200. Within that range, we have to give the values for A, B, C. If not, then what happens? It displays the error message as the value that we have entered is not in the range of permitted values. So for all three, we are checking that condition, right? For C1, C2, C3, that is for A, B, C, we are checking that if those for ABC, if you enter more than 200 or less than 1, then it specifies that the values are not within the range. Next we'll see, so this completes. Then if these three conditions are satisfied, means if we enter the values within the 200 and greater than 1, then the values are assigned here. Yeah, A is assigned to side A and B is assigned to side B and C is assigned to side C. Next, we are checking whether for the given values, we have to find whether it leads to a triangle or not. Same conditions that I already explained previously, right? So this program is same as the structural one. There we are checking the condition, right? If A is less than B, B is less than A plus C, and C is less than A plus B, then we are checking whether it is a triangle or not. If this condition is true, means if this condition A is less than B plus C and B is less than C plus C, B is less than A plus C and C is less than A plus B, then if this condition satisfies, then it indicates that it is a triangle. Then we have to determine what type of triangle it is. So based on whether A is equal to B, B is equal to C, then it is an equilateral triangle. If no sides are equal, then it is a scalene. If one of the side is not equal, then we say that it is isosceles for this. And if this condition is false, then it indicates that it is not a triangle. So this part is same, this part is same, only they improve in the improved version. This extra pseudocode we have to include, because here we have to check the condition for ABC, whether ABC are entered within the given range or not. Why? Because for ABC the range is defined between 1 and 200. Then the user must enter the values for ABC within no, are between 1 and 200. If not, then it is representing the, or it is giving the error message. Okay, next we'll move on to the is traditional implementation. So in the traditional implementation, so first we are considering the uh, flow chart. Then using the flow chart, we are writing the pseudo code. So once again, here we are having the three input values A, B, C that we are declaring as the integer values. Next, one more variable we are declaring, that is match. Initially, it is assigned to 0. Next, based on the values, the match value is incremented. So if A is equal, we are checking three conditions, right? A is equal to B, A is equal to C, B is equal to C. If A is equal to B, then match is incremented by 1. If A is equal to C, then match is incremented by 2. And if A B is equal to C, then match is incremented by 3. If not, match is equal to 0, then we say that. So once again, clear. So if that is not the case, once again we'll check whether the match value is equal to 0 or not. So then if is equal to 0, then we'll check no, then we'll check whether it is match is equal to 1 or not, match is equal to 2 or not, or match is equal to 3 or not. So if match is equal to 3, means what? A is equal to B, A is equal to C, and B is equal to C. Here A is equal to B and B is equal to C. So when A is equal to B and B is equal to C, then it is a match 3. Means match 3 means it is a equilateral triangle. Understood? So for match, because we are incrementing by 3 value, so initially match is equal to 0. We are adding plus 3 to that, then match becomes 3. So if match is equal to 3, then it is a equilateral triangle. If not, it is an isosceles triangle. And if no sides are equal, means if all three conditions are false, A is not equal to B, A is not equal to C, B is not equal to C, then we say that it is a isosceles triangle. Okay, so this is about the type of triangle. But before that, we have to find whether it is a uh, triangle or not. So if this condition, that is if uh, that whenever we are adding the values, see here this condition, A should be less than B plus C and B should be less than A plus B and C should be less than A plus B, that we are considering here. And if A plus B is less than or equal to C, if it is yes, means if this condition satisfies, then we say that it is not a triangle, otherwise it is a isosceles triangle. Similarly, for this also we are checking if A plus C is less than or equal to B. If not, it is an isosceles triangle. If this condition satisfies, means A plus B is less than B, then it indicates that B is greater than A plus C, then it is not a triangle. So after that, if match is equal to 0, what it indicates? That match is equal to 0 indicates that all sides are not equal. If all sides are not equal, then we'll check with these conditions. If If all these conditions are not satisfied, then we say that it is a scalene triangle. Scalene triangle means no sides are equal. So here we have the equilateral, isosceles and scalene. So first we'll find whether the for the given values it leads to a triangle or not. If it is not leading to a triangle, then we are displaying it as not a triangle. If it leads to a triangle, then we are going to find the type of triangle as equilateral, isosceles or scalene triangle. So for this we have the pseudocode once again. So this pseudocode normally written in the form of a Fortran like version. So once again here we are declaring the three integer values a, b, c. Along with that we have one more variable called as match, right? That is also declared as integer. So we have three variables a, b, c and match. Those are declared as the integer. After that we are entering the input values a, b, c. Okay, so A for side A, B for side B and C for side C. Then if match is, so initially we declare match is 0. Then we'll check the condition if A is equal to B and A is equal to Z, B is A is equal to C and B is equal to C. So first we'll consider for the first two sides A and B. If A is equal to B, then match value is incremented by 1. Means it indicates that it is an isosceles triangle. Okay. Or if A is equal to C, then it is match plus 2. Or if B is equal to C, then match is equal to match plus 3. So by checking this condition for match value, we are adding 1, 2 or 3 by using this. So by using this here, 1 uh, for first case A is equal to B, then 1 is added to the match. If for the second one 2 is added and for the third one 3 is added. So that is the case here it is represented. Next we'll check whether it is a triangle or not. So if to check that what we have to do, we have to check or we have to add the sum of two numbers a plus b, then we are comparing with the other variable value. So if you add a plus b, then we are comparing with c. If a plus b is less than c, okay, if that condition is satisfied, then we say that it is not a triangle. Okay, so if a plus b is less than or equal to c, then it is the means that condition is satisfied. If a plus b is less than or equal to c, then this condition satisfies, then we say that it is not a triangle. Similarly, we are checking for remaining two, b plus c and for a plus b. A plus C, we'll check that whether A plus B is less than or equal to C, or if B plus C is less than or equal to A, and if A plus C is less than or equal to B. If any one of these conditions satisfies, then we displace it as a not a triangle. Else it is a scalene triangle. Scalene indicates that no sides are equal. Okay. And for the match one, so match one means if A is equal to B, we'll consider it as a match one. And once again, we'll check whether A plus C is less than or equal to B. If not, so if this condition satisfies, then it is not a triangle. If not, then we are representing the triangle type as isosceles. Similarly, for this, A plus C is checking here. If this condition satisfies, it is not a triangle. Otherwise, it is a isosceles triangle. So for all three, we are checking for the knotted triangle or isosceles. If all the sides are equal, A is equal to B, B is equal to C, then we'll say that it is a equilateral triangle. So this is the pseudo code for the triangle problem by using the traditional approach as well as by using the structural approach. So there we have considered the basic version of the problem and the improved version. So in the basic version of the problem, we have considered only the ABC values, and directly we are entering the ABC values, no limit is given. But in the improved version for ABC, the range is given or the limit values is given, that is between 1 and 200. So for all the three sides, we have to enter the values between 1 and 200. So if this condition is not satisfied, then it displays the error message. So that is in the improved version. So in this way, we are writing the flowchart and the pseudo code by using the traditional approach as well as by using the structural approach for the basic question of the problem and also for the improved version of the problem. Understood all of you? Any doubt in this? In the next class, you're going to study about the next date function. This is one more problem that we'll discuss in the next class. So today we have discussed about the triangle problem and what is the structural and the traditional approach for writing the pseudocode and flowchart for the triangle problem. Any doubt in this? Yes, Suraj? Any
No,
doubt?
ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. Sharanya? Sachin?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Gaurav?
No, ma'am.
Okay, understood.
Yes, ma'am.
How to declare the variables and how to check the conditions for equilateral isosceles and scalene and for a not a triangle option. Understood? Right? No doubt. No doubt? ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಡೌಟ್ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then if all of you understood,